Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Hey, Steeler Nation, it is finally here. It's first week, the preseason pre-game Steelers Realm special. Welcome, Steelers Nation. I'm one of your hosts, JT. Good to be back with you. It's been an exciting week. A little bit different than we had hoped for initially, but we'll get into that because we certainly had a lot of fun. And I want to bring in our trio tonight on the other side. And had his first little taste of Latrobe. Almost got in there. Freight Train, what's up, my brother?
Man, we were so close. We could taste it. But hey, I'm back in the friendly confines of the train station after soaking in the sun today. I'm feeling pretty good. And JT, am I moving up in the world? I'm number 2 on the introductions now.
I guess so. Congratulations. You know, we also have to bring back in his home base on the other side, right in Browns country. I saw something today, speaking of Browns country. But anyhow, the famous TA joining us again. Hey, brother. Welcome back home and welcome.
Hey, thank you, JT, man. I'm glad to be here. We are finally about 24 hours away. 48 hours away from game day. And I am pumped and ready to go. I want to see these boys hit the field. And by the way, Freight Train, it's not that you're second. They're saving the best for last.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, TA. Rome wasn't built in a day, buddy.
That's cool, man. It's good to be with you guys again. This deadly trio was only Latrobe last weekend, almost to the day, gentlemen. At least we were on our way about this time last week. And had a blast getting together. It was good to see you guys, man. And so sad that CJ couldn't join us. He was under the weather and continued to be through the weekend. I guess it was a good weekend for him to be out because nothing was going on. And we were close enough that we could taste it. We could almost throw a football and hit the entrance to the stadium there, but not meant to be. Mother Nature had other plans. But we had a blast, man. We had a blast sitting there in a truck.
Oh, absolutely, JT. I mean, watching hundreds of thousands of Steeler fans dejected, walking in the rain like one duck after the other. Oh, yeah, it was wonderful, JT. I'm glad I got to experience that.
One Steeler fan after the other. We tried a couple times to talk to them about this, and we didn't talk about this, but a couple times we rolled down the window and like, hey, man, what's going on? And they were like all pissed off, and they were like giving us smart aleck answers back. Yeah, they were in no mood to talk.
Yeah. What do you mean what's going on? It's raining cats and dogs out here.
Right. Yeah. And I drove 4 hours to watch nothing.
Yeah. That's it. We weren't the only ones either.
No, but that's okay, Steelers Nation. We did turn lemons into lemonade, and we visited Sharky's. And we would like to give a couple shout-outs to a few folks, JT, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
had a very interesting evening. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let Freight Train, because Freight Train wasn't the man of the hour, folks. I had to poke him, prod him, drag him along. but I'm going to let him go ahead and take the opening. You know, he is a youngin'. I had to show him the ways of the world. So I'll let him go ahead and have the first shout-out.
Yeah. Well, leaders will be leaders, and I followed you into Sharky's, I'm sorry. And we come up to a waiting line, and TA doesn't wait for anybody. He said, Freight Train, follow me. We walked right past that line, walked through the kitchen. We worked at Sharky's for a minute, walked to the other side, and met a guy that we like to call Big Tex. Big Tex was sitting at the table by himself. We introduced ourselves, and boy, we couldn't have done it without him. Shout out to you, Big Tex. Thanks for the great evening.
Hey, JT, it was something else. I walked up on Big Tex. Say, Big Tex. I said, excuse me, sir. Is anybody sitting here? He said, no. He said, my buddy got up to go to the bathroom, but I don't think he's coming back. I said, well, it's a good thing we stopped by to keep you company then, didn't we? And he just kind of looked at me. And next thing you know, it was 3 hours later, JT. It was on. It was on. And then, but the best part is, there's Steeler fans everywhere. There's some Steelers there. There was even a family dinner behind the green curtain, which was the Tomlin family there. So, we're doing our little networking and this, that, and the other. And there's these two good-looking women behind us. Now, Freight Train's like, you got to give him the card. You got to give him the card. I said, go ahead, walk up to him. He says, oh, no, they scare me. I said, what? I said, you're intimidated? I said, they're good-looking women. What are they going to do, bite your head off? And he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, okay, Freight Train, so you got to watch this. So I walked up and I introduced myself, and I got to give a special shout-out to a Christy Rocha and a Julie Zaff. Now, Christy is from Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and Julie is from Cumberland, Maryland. And they have been going to the women's training camp since 2000, JT.
Wow.
Now, I also want to give a special shout out to one of their fallen, which is Michelle Smith. This was the first year that they were there without Michelle, who's from Virginia, because she had went ahead and passed away from complications of cancer. But they had went ahead, made the trek, stood tall. And let me tell you something. I wouldn't be afraid to put them women out there on the islands, man. I think they could go ahead and hold up. So a special shout out to those ladies, and thank you for a memorable night. I hope you guys had a wonderful time at the Steelers women's camp. And by the way, all of our female listeners, if you haven't done it, you need to do it next year. I guess they spoil these ladies like they should be. Steak dinners, lobsters, who knows what else. I mean, they gave me a whole list and got to meet the players. It's a pretty special thing.
Hey, you said it, TA. Put them out on an island. I have an eye for talent. Okay. I knew if I went over that table and I messed things up, I was about to get laid out.
I think they might have laid you out. You were looking pretty scared.
She had that mean Joe Green look in her eye. I'm talking about you, Julie.
Now, I will tell you this. So the highlight of the evening, JT, and you're going to love this. And Steelers Nation, if you haven't went ahead and got on the website, you're going to have to jump on the realm, because we are going to post the picture and the highlight of it all. Bob Labrola was over there with Mike Prosciutto, but Bob took time.
Bob Labriola.
That's what I said. Bob Lably, blah, blah, blah. Look, JT, don't start with me on my pronunciation today. I mean, come on now. At least I didn't say Deuce Queen, Deuce Kane. Hey, look, this is the TA here. I got my own Webster's Dictionary I'm working off of here, okay?
My apologies.
And Bob knows too. We talked about this, and he looked at me and says, if I wasn't an English major, I'd have problems with it too. Anyways, so Bob came over. We got to go ahead and sit and talk to Bob, but the highlight of it all, JT, is when he looked to Freight Train, as Freight Train couldn't take his eyes off of this thing that looked like the size of an Easter egg that was dangling on his finger, a.k.a. a Super Bowl ring, and Bob let him go ahead and wear his ring.
He let me put that sucker on. And let me tell you, I was like a kid on Christmas. I was so excited. Bob was telling me how to hold it up to my cheek, the whole 9 yards. And when I looked back at that picture, I was so excited. I didn't even realize the sucker was upside down. But you know what? It looked good to me, and that's all that matters.
That's right. You were looking at it.
Oh, I looked at it. I thought about walking out of Sharky's with it, but I have too much respect for Bob and how classy he was with us. Thank you for that, Bob.
Nice.
Yeah, Bob took some time out, and it was very, very special. So thanks, Bob, and hope you're listening. Guys, Bob is a special writer for the Steelers, and he's very lucky to have him, man. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. He also does a lot of videos, too. So, yeah, check out his work. great Steelers beat writer.
So we'd like to thank everybody, but those were the 3 highlights. Not that everybody else was a low light, but those were the highlights we wanted to make sure we gave a special shout out. So you know what? Let's get into camp, JT. That's what the people are here for. They're not here to listen to Super Bowl rings and this, that, and the other, us getting drunk, big techs. We want to talk about camp. What's going on?
All right. Well, first, since another shout out before we move on to Bill Hillgrove, keeping us posted while we're in the truck. He was in the booth, and thanks for texting us some updates, Bill. We appreciate it. And thanks again for being on our podcast, Steeler Nation. If you didn't hear it, go back and listen to last week's episode with Bill Hillgrove on it and his take on the Steelers and some of his co-announcers over the years too. Great inside stuff you'll never see or you never hear him talk on the radio with. So, yeah, what's going on with camp? We had a couple darlings. Is the cream rising to the top? What's going on, man?
Very might well be. Mr. George Pickens seems to be the darling of the camp.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he seems to be like Spider-Man out there in camp, catching everything, jumping over people, being a voice, as a rookie. So let's see what happens when he's going up against somebody that he's not familiar with.
You know what I find most intriguing about him is the young man's humbleness as a rookie. To listen to him talk, you can see how humble he is to even be where he's at. He doesn't have that NFL bravado at this time, and I hope that young man stays humble because he truly could have a great career. That kid is smooth. Watching just some videos there, of him in camp, the way he's coming out of his breaks, dropping his hips, making the cuts, making all the catches. I mean, I guess he is really lighting up camp. I can't wait to see this kid play this weekend.
Yeah, it seems like when the ball's in the vicinity of him, he's coming down with it.
Only thing you're missing is the webs coming out. Choo, choo.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Nice.
But the biggest thing, JT, right now is, we've talked about quarterbacks, and I really don't want to talk about quarterbacks, but I got to talk about quarterbacks. You want to know why I want to talk about quarterbacks, JT?
Sure.
How many quarterbacks do we have on this team, JT?
4, if I'm counting
correctly. Are you sure we have 4?
I've only seen 3.
Well,
or heard of 3.
See or know of?
Because last time I checked, we wasted a 7th round draft pick on a 4th quarterback who, at this point in time, Josh, he holds a clipboard better than you do, buddy, because he's nowhere to be seen.
Well, do you think maybe he hasn't taken any snaps because they want to work on his stature with the clipboard, making sure he has the thumb on the front of it, the ring finger and the pinky on the backside?
You think it's all about thumb dexterity with him? Chris doesn't just quite have the way to clip them papers in yet?
It's all about the form. Josh had great form. We got to get the form in with Chris.
All right. Well, you guys teed this up then, and I'm going to comment on it, that they were too worried about what's going on with these 3 to be having him in any kind of mix. And to be honest with you, word is, and we'll get into this, but word is, this isn't a very good group combined. They don't have really any.
Well, I'm not so sure about that because 10. one day it's something good about somebody. The next day they're bad. We're going to move on to another guy. And then that guy's not so good. So we move back to another guy. I mean,
and that's why
I'm just as confused as anybody.
I know. And you know what? We are too. I think we were chatting about this a little bit. I think we're all like just over mediafied, overexposed just so much. We can peek into every angle of this the whole way through. I don't even have to be there as much as I am still pissed that we didn't get to be. But we're about to see finally it start to weed itself out coming up this Saturday, guys. I'm looking forward to it. So,
Well,
any other camp darlings in that? Obviously, I mean, he seems to be the one. How are we looking at running back? What's going on there? Anybody standing out there? Is Benny Snell going to be the man?
hey,
What's
pick
the
a
plan?
card. Pick a
Stan?
card, JT. Any card. Pick a card.
In this hand, I don't know.
Well, the
Oscar
guy
got-
that we signed is on the IR, Jeremy McNichols. So they bring in Master Teague, which I'm pretty excited about that. I watched him at Ohio State. I think he didn't get a real good chance at Ohio State, and he runs hard. But the story of camp and another darling is Jalen Warren, who seems to be lighting it up as well.
And I tell you what, from what I've seen with Master Teague coming on, and you're right, at Ohio State, he didn't get a lot of opportunities because here's one thing about Master Teague. He's not got any breakaway speed whatsoever. You're not going to catch this cat running down the field for a 60-yarder. It ain't going to happen. But you want to put him in and get that hard yard, Master Teague looks like he's going to give it to you because even today now he's got extra reps because Benny Snell's now out. Anthony McFarland seems to be having maybe his best camp ever, but I think it might be too little too late. And then one guy, JT, that we all talked about that we were really interested in seeing what he was going to do has been an absolutely no-show, and that's Mateo Durant. I mean, this cat is like, he's giving way to Jalen Warren, and it's like, okay, hey, you talk about cream rising to the top. It's a battle right there, the running backs right now, and I'm excited to see who's going to do what come Saturday night.
Yeah, the word on in the camp is those two have risen to the top, and so now the way I'm thinking, I made a little jingle. Bye bye Benny football guy.
Take your cleats to the station and wave bye-bye.
There we go. We aren't
All right.
signed, so we're looking for a deal.
That's right. We're open to looking at label offers.
But hey, if they bring a couple different extra things to the table that Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland can't provide, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to special teams. Which one of these guys are going to go ahead and be able to make their mark on special teams as well, too, JT? Let's be real. I mean, because that's going to be huge. And we're probably only going to carry, I'm going to say, 4 running backs going into the season. So, and you notice we didn't mention nothing about Haywood about Connor. And
I was just thinking that, but go ahead.
And Connor's been having a pretty solid rookie camp as well. But I mean, when you looks at the tight ends, I mean, right now, I mean, Gentry.
It's a log jam.
It is a log jam. Gentry is probably having his stellar, although he went down with an injury as well. And a lot of these injuries, man, they're just nicks and bruises, and we're making sure that everybody's, the air to caution at this point in time.
Sure,
but,
right.
It's just as much as confusion goes, though, on the quarterbacks. Let's talk about the quarterback on defense, that inside linebacker. Just last week, everybody was excited about Bush. Devin Bush is looking good. Or the defense is talking great about him. Oh, my goodness, he's starting to come back to form. And now this week, it's like, oh, man, Devin Bush might not even make the team. And Robert Spillane now is listed as and or starter on the depth chart. I don't understand what's going on myself when it comes to what is going on in that inside linebacker room. But we definitely have some issues there that need to be figured out quickly. And Devin's not helping that situation none.
Well, and I don't know if maybe he's just getting lazy. He's getting bored with camp and just wants to get to the action, which I hope in his case that's exactly what it is, or he's going to lose a starting spot. He can't be lazy and expect to just slide into that starting spot, especially after we got the intel that we did when we had Bill on about Mark Robinson. If Mark Robinson's making that big of an impression, he might slide in there. And don't forget about Robert Spillane. He's been a starter before. He knows the position. So it's not just a given that Devin Bush is going to be the starter. He needs to take it seriously. Quit getting lazy. Do what you were doing at the beginning. Don't slack off now.
That's it. That's it. I heard some chatter on that today too. That's the same subject, and that's, some players, and it's known, some players are just way too tentative after major surgery like that to put, to trust it yet. And so, if that's the case, then it's time to. It's 2 years now. I'm not sure how severe Pickens' injury was, but he's back and he's flying all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, time and time again, you've seen it in running backs tear their ACL and come back and have monster seasons. So, I mean, opposite side of the ball, but I mean, still same concept when it comes to a knee.
Well, I can tell you this right now. One guy who's not coming back, JT, we have seen the last of Ulysses S. Gilbert. He gone. I mean, this is what, his third or fourth year, another training camp injury. They finally said enough is enough. You're done, son. Thank you. Hand in your helmet. Pick up your cleats. You're on the way out. We go ahead and we pick up Hamilcar Rashad, former of the New York Jets. Now, who knows what this cat can do, what he can't do, whether or not he's just there to kind of help spell the other inside linebackers, but out the old, in with the new, JT. That's what I always say.
Yep.
Or as Mike Tomlin says, next man up. There you go, JT. Took the word right out of my mouth.
Sorry, man.
It was because of the delay. I had it before you.
All right. Let's see. More news. Players back. Talking about injuries. We got some coming back. And by the way, TA, are you tuning up that ambulance?
You know what? The ambulance is still parked yet. I'm giving a little bit of wax, little buff, little wax on, little wax off. Because at this point in time, it doesn't matter who's hurt, who's not hurt, until that opening day. Then we're going to get into the mass unit. But so far, knock on wood, JT.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty healthy camp, and we got two guys back in Chase Claypool, and we got to see Alu hit the field for the first time today.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and old Larry Joby
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi hit the field, and evidently, he was a little disruptive. So that's kind of good to see. I'm feeling really good about the defensive line and us being able to stop the run this year.
I am too, especially after Larry coming off that foot injury. We were kind of questioning the signing. Why did the Bears pass on him? Why is he still there? Well, Larry showed us he's healthy so far and is making a difference in camp. So
I think he's going to be a standout this year, man. As long as he stays healthy, and that's probably about 90% of the attitudes out there about him. But yeah, I think he's going to have a good one. Well, cuts are just ahead. The 16th, they're going to cutting down from 90 to 85 players. Later in the month, they go from 85 to 80, and then the final cut, August 30th, down to 53-man roster. That's when we'll know what the team will be like going into it. That's what'll get printed in the books. So,
all right, JT, who's one of the first 5 cuts that's on your mind? Do we got a veteran that's going to get cut?
We got a lot of players on there that are just kind of camp backups and stuff. And no offense made to those players. I mean, to just be on an NFL team, even in camp, has to be a thrill too. But, I wouldn't even begin to guess who some of those would be until we start getting down to the wire. So I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass that one over to Freight Train. So Freight Train, who do you think?
I think it's going to be one of these running backs. I think this is going to be a show for one of them 5 to do something on the field, and one of them is going to be gone. I really do.
I got a feeling maybe one running back you kind of think it's a little too early in camp to be cutting running backs, just to be able to spell the guys, especially with Najee still out. But the one thing that kind of concerns me, I thought we were looking pretty good already in wide receivers, but evidently we didn't have enough wide receivers, and we had to go out and pick up another one today from Atlanta in Christian Blake. Now, Christian Blake, I know everybody's saying, who? Atlanta Falcons? What did he do? All right, he was a special teamer. I don't know what we've got going on or what Bazooka Joe's got being planned here on the special teams, but we are really talking about some special teams plays, and we've brought in actual guys so far this year for special teams. I'm just not quite sure we don't lose one of these wide receivers aren't showing enough mustard.
Yeah, and one of them's a specialist that we brought in.
Gunner, which evidently hasn't been having too bad of a camp coming out of the slot, catching everything. And remember, when he came, he had, 2 catches in the NFL? Maybe it was 14, guys. I mean, who keeps stats on Gunner? My point is, it's not like, he was lighting up the scorecard as a receiver either. So.
Yeah. Well, he's got a Pittsburgh name, man.
He does. He does.
Gunner.
Yeah. He's a Polish gunner.
Yeah.
Well, they'll just have to add that one last name to the depth chart that had been released. Did you see that, JT? We finally got us a depth chart, and we got some ors in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a little bit.
We got ors at left guard with Kevin Dotson and Kendrick Green. We got ors at inside linebacker with Devin Bush and Robert Spillane. And we have a or at cornerback with Levi Wallace and Witherspoon. So we got some open competition in those 3 spots.
Well, sure.
Folks, can you hear that? That silence is JT's gears spinning at 100 miles an hour. If you're watching on YouTube, you can literally see the smoke coming out of his ears.
All right. Question.
Yeah, we need you to warm up that ambulance. Get it out of the parking stall.
What's a surprise veteran that's going to get cut?
That's a tough one. Something keeps bringing me back to, I think one of the veterans that's going to be cut, and I'm going to narrow it down, could possibly be maybe Chris Wormley. I think he might be a surprise cut.
Do you call him a veteran?
Yes, I would. I would call him a veteran. He's been here for a couple years. He's a veteran.
It's 2 years. 1 year he rode the pine. The other year he got to play. Is that really a veteran?
Well, he's been in the NFL. He's been in the NFL longer than 2 years, though.
Player. Yeah, he's a veteran player.
To me, a veteran, is like Tyson Alualu. That to me is a veteran. That's a guy who's been in the trenches, hitting the sticks every single day. I mean,
how long has Alu been compared to?
I thought Alualu had way too many splash plays last year and really came on strong last year to cut him this year.
Wait a second. The guy only played 4 games. What TV are you watching?
Look at him. He played like his hair was on fire in those 4 games, JT.
That was at the beginning of the season. We haven't seen him in like 10 months, and all of a sudden the guy's hair was on fire for 4 games? What are you talking about?
That position is important, and he plays it well, TA.
I'm not going to argue with you, but don't make him sound like
the big boy in the middle.
A year. I mean, no.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
He's 35 years old now. That's an old man. I mean, he might be one play away with getting out there in the 4-point stands and have to set his walker to the side to get ready to grab it to go after the quarterback.
Hey, to some people, age is just a number, TA.
Hey, look, you're not telling me nothing, man. I am beautiful, young, and fit for 52, baby. Ready to go. Put the pads on me, brother. Stand up, champ. I got money on you. I mean, but come on now. We're talking veterans here, not somebody who's been here for 2 years like Chris Wormley.
All right, TA, then name us one.
I'm not going to, because I don't think there's going to be a veteran cut in the first 5.
He just did. He thinks Alulu should be cut.
No, I said Alulu is a veteran. That's what I consider a veteran. Somebody who's been part of the family for a long time. Someone who we've grown to know and love. Kind of like Big Al. Okay? Big Al was one of those ones, and Big Al didn't come back. But we were worried about Big Al. We love Big Al. See what I'm saying? That to me is a veteran. Not somebody who's working on their thumb dexterity.
Well, did I see the silver streak pop out there a little bit?
He got me fired up right there. I got a little bit. Yep. The steam came to the top. Yeah. Don't mess with my Alulu, buddy.
All right. So the cream rises to the top, and we're certainly going to see that cream perform. It's game day coming up Saturday, baby. 7 p.m. at, what's the name of the stadium?
The Shore. The Shore by the Shore. The Shore by the Shore, baby.
Looks like
a sure thing.
It's a sure thing for the north, to the north power. Partly cloudy, high of 78, only low of 60. Get a little crispy later. But no wind. A slight chance of rain. So it should be a great evening here at Acrisure Stadium. You almost have to go Acrisure when you mention.
Are you sure about that?
I'm Acrisure.
Okay.
So on TV, KDKA, CBS, local in Pittsburgh, PA. You'll catch Bob Pompiani, and of course, Big Hands himself, Charlie Batch, man with big hands and a little head, but does a great job. Also, Missy Matthews on the sideline too, and NFL Network's covering it too, as a matter of fact.
Hey, by the way, we have to say something about Sirius Satellite Radio in the NFL Network. Did they or did they not, during Friday Night Under the Lights, cover a great first 30 minutes, made all the listeners believe that they were practicing as we're watching them walk out in droves? I mean, my hat's off to those guys, because if you didn't know any better, you thought that they were right out there on the sideline giving you play-by-play, step-by-step instructions when everybody's running to the hills.
Yeah, I thought maybe for a second the storm cloud was just on the parking lot and not actually in there.
Yeah, and then of course in the meantime, you see all the players, TJ and everybody. They got a hold of some water balloons and we're throwing them at each other, having a good old time there. And
we watched a guy drive through an infield.
Yeah.
Don't forget about
Butthead of the weekend, no doubt. This guy. We're in a parking lot. There had to be, what, guys, 2,000 cars.
Well, wait a second. If you call left field a parking lot of a baseball diamond.
Yeah. Several. The baseball, the good field, and the practice field, and anywhere there was green. But no, this guy had to go, instead of going out the way we came in, he had to go right through the infield that had probably 2 inches of water on top of it, and just created ruts the whole way to first base and then out there. Unbelievable. And then we had this lady in the van. Remember that lady? She had stuff piled up so high we couldn't figure out. We got video proof too, ladies and gentlemen. She had stuff piled so high in this van we couldn't figure out how she could see out there. But there she was.
Out the windshield. You're absolutely right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the jack off of the week.
Jack off of the week.
All right, guys, it's game time. We're getting ready to finally see him hit the field. So I'm going to ask each of you, okay, what are your expectations? JT, we're going to start with you. What is it that you want to see Saturday night?
Good questions. I want to see it's going to be vanilla. We know this, right? When we all agree that what we're going to see in the preseason games is going to be pretty vanilla. But I think you're going to see aspects of the Canada offense. And what I'm looking to see is probably the most obvious of them. But how these three quarterbacks handle things and how they play, and just how the offense looks as a unit, including the offensive line. So that's what I'm looking for. We know Najee's going to carry the rock, and we know our receivers. I want to see Pickens too, but I'm not going to steal anybody else's thunder. I'm going to take the quarterbacks, and that's okay if you guys do too.
I was going to say, because I don't think we're going to see Najee.
No.
I wouldn't.
No. We might not see Najee to the last.
And you know what? Rightly so.
I'd probably be fine with him not even taking a snap in the preseason game.
Exactly.
To be honest with you. To be brutally honest.
He's got to take a little bit of something. You got to get that timing. He's got to make sure he's seeing his offensive line in real action, real time, real speed to be able to hit the holes. Or that's going to be an ugly first game. And everybody's going to be like, well, he should have went ahead and played in preseason. He can't even get 10 yards. He got to run the ball a little bit, guys. Mm-hmm. All right, Freight Train, what do you got?
My expectation of what I'm looking for is I want to watch this defense, this new scheme of defense with Brian Flores, Terrell Austin, and Mike Tomlin. I want to see how those guys mesh together. I want to see the play calling. I want to see, if there's different. I don't want to see zone Butler defense in the preseason. I want to see a fresh look, and I want to see if at all possible who is making the calls over there. Is it Tomlin? Is it Terrell Austin? Is it Brian Flores? We shall see.
Well, you're asking a lot for the first preseason game. Did he not just say this is going to be vanilla and you want to see something more than zone blitz?
Dude, this is the first freaking football game of the season, man.
And you're acting like it's a Super Bowl that we've got to win here.
I've been waiting.
Are you guys kidding me right now? Come on,
roll it out.
It's all about fundamentals at this point in time. It's about watching these young kids and what they can do to bring us something added value to this team. So, like for me, I want to see these running backs. I want to see Jalen in person. I want to see Master Tig in person. I want to see just exactly what's been going on. I want to see Pickett live. I want to see what he's doing. I want to see how this offensive line is going to gel, with, first of all new players. Second, new offensive line coach. Third, a quarterback who's not going to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds, which means that these quarterbacks have an extra second now to at least get 10 yards down the field and not 3. And how these quarterbacks are really going to go ahead and compete. That's really what you got to see. It's the fundamentals in the technique of the actual game. And are they at the point now where they're getting leverage and they're getting low and they're hitting some people? That's what I want to see. Now, that's exactly
what I said.
That ain't what you said.
Yeah,
you wanted to
about
see
how
some
they
special
utilize
packages.
that talent.
No, you wanted to see special packages and not the boring Keith Butler zone blitz defense. We'll be lucky if we see any of that stuff.
Yeah, I want to see the zip and the za.
We're not getting no zip and a za. We'll be lucky if we even get a dribble of hot fudge on the vanilla ice cream when it's said and done. I mean, that's about how bland this is going to be, man. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, one of the guys we didn't talk about was Arthur Millette. And he is making it hard in his second year. And we've talked about Arthur before. The guy's got heart. He's got heart. He might not be the most athletic guy out there, but he's got heart and he's always around the ball. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. But I think we've got this here is going to be a game to watch some of the bubble players. Like you talked about veterans. How about, here's a name, JT, Justin Lane. Who's he? That's right. We don't even know who Justin Lane is, because we really haven't seen this kid live up to his potential. How about another one, Buddy Johnson? This is supposed to be Buddy's year to go ahead and blossom and bloom. And right now, he ain't blossoming and blooming. I want to see what this kid's going to do. I'm excited to see what this Mark Robinson's kid's going to do. So in all actuality, I have absolutely zero expectations as far as wins or losses, as much as I want to see the heart and I want to see the gelling of this team coming together, because that's what this first game's about.
Yeah, I could care less if we win or lose. I mean, obviously I want us to win, but at the end of the day, that's not what really matters.
No, because
I want to see these young kids flying around, making some plays. In the vanilla-ness of the game plan is what you're putting.
wait, vanilla-ness. Did you look at my Webster's dictionary?
I did.
Vanilla-ness?
Yeah, I took a sneak peek of that as we were in Pittsburgh for 3.5 hours on the way back home.
Oh, the vanilla-ness.
The
The
vanilla-ness.
vanilla-ness. But you know what? Freight Train, in all due respect, though, you actually do bring up a good point. I don't think we're going to see it in game 1. I don't see we're going to see it in game 2. But game 3 is really where that play calling is going to come into effect on who actually is making those calls on the defensive side of the ball. Probably not going to see it in game 1 and game 2 as much. But game 3, that's going to be. And here's another thing, guys. Let's talk about this real quick going in here. We only have 3 games to get ready. Last year, remember, we changed the NFL rules. We went from 4 to 3. And we've all been accustomed to that first game. You don't get to see the starting quarterback. It's usually all the scrubs. Maybe the second game, Big Ben would come out and play a series, and then he was done. You really didn't see him until game 3. And then game 4, none of the starters played. Now, last year we got lucky. We had the Dallas game because of the Hall of Fame. So we kind of were able to stay kind of on that schedule. This is Tomlin's first year of tweaking the new preseason format. And he's got to figure who's his starting quarterback. And he can say Mitch Trubisky all he wants.
And I'll bring up this point. We don't have that guy that can just possibly sit until the third game on this roster anymore. I mean, all these quarterbacks have to play. Devin Bush has to play every single game because he's fighting for a roster spot. Now, Miles Jack, he's a veteran. Maybe he doesn't get in, whatever. I look at this roster. I don't see anybody that besides, maybe Cam and a couple defensive guys that are like, you go ahead and take a back seat. You're on the team already.
Bluetooth connected.
Hey, your Bluetooth's connected and disconnected.
Who's?
It's better to be connected than not connected.
That's true.
Connect your shit, will you?
All right. So at the end of the day, it's time to play ball. JT, I think you want to tell Steelers Nation about our Facebook group page.
I do, but I also don't want to avoid not finishing our radio broadcast team. None other than the infamous Bill Hillgrove with his new partner, Craig Wolfley, the Wolfman, and Max Starks on the sideline as your radio team. So shout out to Bill. Super great guy. I saw a picture on Facebook, guys. We missed this of him with some fan. He just some fan came in, sat down beside him, and he let him get on the PA while it was raining outside. That was cool. That's just like the kind of stuff he would do. So shout out to Billy. But yeah, our Facebook group that we kind of decided, hey, you know what? 412 is a Pittsburgh thing, and that's the area code. And but if you look at 724 area code, it encompasses everywhere out around that. So we thought we'd start a Facebook Steelers group as well too. Steelers Nation local number 724, which represents 724 area code of Steeler Nation. So stop on by, man. Sign up, put your 2 cents in. We'll give you a shout out. We'll always post some interesting conversation and topics on there too. And it's a real honest to God Steelers fan site, and we appreciate all our members there who are contributing. And also another plug while I'm doing it, and we can kind of move on from this too. But Willie Hobbs, Pittsburgh sports artist, want to thank him. He donated a couple of his prints, autographed prints. We're going to work on getting one of them signed, autographed by some players, and maybe raffle off for some proceeds to benefit some children somehow. But we'll certainly do that as well too. So shout out to Willie Hobbs and his website is going to be posted in the notes there. We'll put it up here in a second. But yeah, man, thanks for the opening there, TA. Don't forget Steelers Nation local number 724 on Facebook.
Well, what do you say we wrap this thing up, boys, with one of the things that seems to be the buzz of the week?
What is
Okay.
that?
Let's do that.
All right. So, as you guys have already known, Roquan Smith, Chicago Bears, inside linebacker, one of 6 players ever to have sacks, interceptions, tackle, his hair combed, washed, manicure, pedicure. I mean, the guy's an all-in-one talent. He's now upset with the Chicago Bears and wants out. He wants traded. And of course, you know how we are. We just got done talking about inside linebackers. How sweet would it be for Roquan to be on this team? And can Omar work as a magic?
Mm-hmm.
GT, what are your thoughts?
I don't have any on that. Pass.
Okay. TA, I'm interested on yours. You go first this time.
I just opened it up. That's for you. You see how that works? See, you got the spotlight. Remember, you're number 2, best for last. We've established this already. Well, I don't understand why you want to try to switch things up. Come on. Get ready, whipping boy. Here we go.
I don't think that I get bullied on this show. I swear.
Hey, Freight Train.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Happy birthday
Day
to you.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to the famous TA. Happy birthday to you.
There you go.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
We love you, buddy.
Didn't see
All
that
right.
one coming.
And now to get back to the show.
Now the whipping post.
I do not want to see them make this trade. Because you know why? Because you have to throw a major package to this guy. We can't afford to throw draft picks away. Draft picks are crucial to this team. And on top of that, you have to re-sign this guy to a new deal when you trade to him. Everybody was complaining about how expensive this defense was. We have the highest paid defense in the NFL. Now you want to add to it for one more player that might, quite honestly, might not be that type of player that'll take you to the next level. We need to add more money to this offense and get us some next level players on this offense. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Are you done?
Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
Tia,
And then I'll
it's
fire
your
back
turn.
at you.
All right.
You got the stage.
First of all, let's think about this realistically. Roquan's not happy, which means, as Tomlin has said, I don't want hostages. I want volunteers. Well, at this point in time, Roquan is a hostage. So how well is he actually going to play for the Bears this year? Probably not. Now, I'm kind of thinking my little GM mind, which, by the way, just so you all know, don't bet on that too much because I'm still on the couch on Monday morning, just like the rest of you, thinking that I know something that I don't know. But I'm absolutely thinking that let's go ahead and package up Devin Bush. That's a 1-for-1. Okay, there you go. That's an even swap. Now, let's sweeten the pot just a hair. You know what? Let's give him Chase Claypool. That's a number 2. So now you get a number 1 for a number 1 and a number 2, which is a wide receiver, which, by the way, Chicago, last time I checked, you really don't have them. You don't have them. You just don't have them. You can't have them because every time you do, you get rid of them. So let's give him Chase Claypool. And as far as draft pick goes, throw him a number 5. And in worst case scenario, if you really need something, throw in Benny Snell and Rudolph as well. I mean, we're probably getting rid of him. So package them boys up, send them off. Let's take him for a year. And you know what? Hold on. If Miles Jack doesn't work out, cut him. You got Roquan, who is only going to be in his 5th year at the time, who, yes, you can afford to put a little bit more money into it and make him the centerpiece of this defense for years to come. Because last time I checked, right now we need all the defense. And the reason why we have the most expensive defense is because that's where all of our veterans are and our game makers are. Now, we've got a lot of young kids coming, and sooner or later we're going to have to pay them. There's no doubt about that. You always got to pay the fiddler. But at this point in time, I think it's well worth the risk to take a look at this kid.
All right. Woo, woo. Here comes the silver streak because I'm going to shut down TA's little engine that could. I think I can. TA, are you making this trade on Madden Football 23? You don't think the Chicago Bears know who they have? You're going to give them Chase Claypool, Benny Snell, Devin Bush, 3 guys that haven't done diddly squat in their careers for a perennial all-pro player. Are you joking?
No.
And a 5th round pick?
Absolutely.
No.
You know why? Because, again, you're getting more value than what this guy is going to bring you in headaches. And the last thing you want is a cancer on your team. Or risk this guy not even playing this year. We all seen how well that worked out for Le'Veon Bell. Did you forget that? You don't want it. So as the Chicago Bears, a team who's trying to rebuild and get out from that Nagy funk. Hell, they've been trying to get out from a funk for a long time. You need to start making the right calls in upper management, and getting rid of this guy, if he's not happy, is exactly where you want to be, because he's not going to be on your team. So get what you can get and get out and move on.
I think there's another team out there that's going to be willing to give them multiple 1st round picks for that guy. And
Who,
for
like,
2, I don't want to keep
who?
spending money.
Like who?
Well,
The Baltimore Ravens? Baltimore Ravens got less money available than we do.
No. I'm talking maybe like somebody like maybe the Jets who like those kinds of trades.
First of all, do you think Roquan Smith will accept a trade to the Jets?
I think Roquan
negatory.
Smith will go to whoever will pay him money.
Oh, that's not necessarily true. That kid is like everybody else. He wants a chance to win a ring. He ain't going to the Jets.
Well, he ain't going to get it here either. And you know why? Because I'm the GM now. You had your GM spotlight. Now I got mine. I'd rather have that money to extend Najee when that comes up.
That's still 3 years away.
Start saving now because it's going to be expensive.
Oh, my God, GM, you're horrible at this game.
All right, gentlemen,
let's move on.
We've expired our time on this topic. So thank you for that heated discussion. I think, man.
You know, he just can't
Justin
afford
Tucker
to
got
lose.
his deal. Speaking of kickers, well, we're not, but we did. Justin Tucker gets a new deal. Chris Boswell kind of paving the way for that.
Copycats.
No, by the way, thank you, Boz, because the reason you did that is the reason why Baltimore's not in the running for Roquan Smith now, because they had to give him a little extra to make sure he was still number 1. But Boz, you're number 1 in our hearts, brother, and we appreciate you.
Well, extra Chang.
It's August 11th and Baltimore still sucks. So pay your kicker. Whoop-de-doo.
All right, gentlemen. Hey, well, let's stick a fork in this one. We're way over time tonight, but let's looking forward to Saturday, man. We're gonna be posted up at the Pink Chicken downstairs at the bar, and a little something different. Taking the game down there. Of course, things will be flowing. So enjoy your Saturday night, Steeler Nation. We're on the black and gold. Steeler football is finally here, gentlemen. Have a great weekend, man. Good to be with you again. Careful in the hot tub. Steeler Nation. See you next time. We're out of here.
Steelers Nation. Look, see, I just took second place away from the little train that could. Hey, get those terrible towels waving. Football has started. Let's rock Acrisure like it ain't nobody's business and send the sea snots home with hankies. Have a good one, Steelers Nation.
Steelers Nation. Life's a garden. Dig it. Love you. Go Steelers.
Corey, see you next week. We're out of here.
Check back next week into the Steelers realm.